Hello everyone, this is Sebastian aka X for PokerVIP. Instantly in a hand. Yeah, just gonna call him. No real reason to raise here. Win. Yeah, as said, this is Sebastian aka X for PokerVIP. And this time I will record a 4-part video series on a poker site called TonyBet. Some of you might know it, some of you might not. Yeah. It's around 1 AM here in Germany. So the action right now is not really that thrilling. It's an interesting flop. I think I'm just gonna check it. I think I could 3-bet here. I'm just gonna call though. Pretty good flop. So it's like there are like 2 tables of 25 NL running, then there's like 1 table of heads up 50 NL running. Easy bet turn. Easy call here. And oh, someone joined here. That's kind of cool. And then there was 1 table of 10 NL running, so I decided to. This is interesting. He could have hit at 10. I want to size in a way where I do think his 10x will call a river lead. Could have randomly have like ace 10 or something. So yeah. Didn't feel too thrilling to play 50 NL heads up versus a rack right now. So yeah. Decided to throw some 10 NL into a mix because it was like a fish open sitting it. And it's probably like more fitting for the stakes some of you guys play than 50 NL. So let's, as always, let's talk a bit about the side. Let's actually check what he had here. Kind of interesting. Where's it? Oh, that wasn't the wrong. That was the wrong one. That's the right one. So in the King Jack hand he had, where is it? He did have, oh, he mucks hand, I can't see it. Oh no, here's it. 10 of hearts, 9 of spades, 10, 9 of suited. So I don't think he would have bet the river, so we got the maximum there. Yeah, let's start by talking a bit about this side. So in terms of Rake, I'm yet to find out what the Rake really is here. I don't really know, and you can't use Hold'em Manager. Well, I guess you kinda can, but it's not really legal, so I won't. And yeah, from like the internet side, I didn't really figure out how much PP per 100 the Rake is here, because it's also like, I mean, it doesn't really help to ask another player because Rake is like different between different players, right? Kind of depends on like the player type. For example, I had a friend playing the same stake as me. I was playing like 6 PP per 100s in Rakes, or that would have been a good flop 6-5. And he was paying like 11 or 12. He was like almost paying double of the Rake I was paying. So it's obviously a huge discrepancy. Right there. So yeah, I don't really know how the Rake is here, but what I do know is how the rakeback is here, because it's actually really interesting. It's a really interesting system. That was the word I was looking for. So it's like, let me get more into the middle of the cam actually. Sorry. Okay. So the system is like really uncommon, but I kind of dig it, to be honest. It's kind of cool. It's basically it depends on how much you are up or down for a day, how much rakeback you're gonna earn. By the way, I'm first gonna, like, if an interesting spot comes up, I'm gonna talk about it. So this is kind of close. This is like an aggressive whack where I have some dynamic, like I do know this guy and I do know he's probably gonna 3-bet me a decent chunk, so I think I'm gonna defend the King Jack. If you knew he was a bit tighter or something, you could fold this, but yeah, gonna take a flop right here in this situation. Relatively good flop. Easy call. Not a lot to be said about that. Easy call flop, reevaluate on the turn. Gonna come back to the rake back talk later. Interesting turn. I kinda do think we have the best hand almost always, once he snap checks it. Kind of big tail by him to snap check it. Wouldn't advise that. Wait, is he leading it to me? Yeah, he's actually leading it to me. I think I can throw the 7s away, even 4th pot versus a lead. Leads are so often like top pairs. Yeah, I'm just gonna check back here because even if he has like ace king, I'm not giving him away that much equity. And he checks river. So that's kind of interesting. I do think he has ace king here a bunch of the time. I'm actually gonna bet a sizing where I do think his ace kings could call me. And there's like also other hands that actually I don't know. I would definitely bet ace jack here for value. King jack, I think I'm just gonna take my showdown honestly. He has 780. He could even check raise this hand, which would obviously suck. So yeah, not gonna value bet that hand, but it's close. I would definitely value bet king, ace jack there. So yeah, the rakeback system, as said, is dependent on how much you basically win or lose at a day, which is really interesting. So there are three sections of rakeback basically. So there's like, if you lose more than 100 euros or dollar, I guess it's euros because the site is in euros. Yeah, probably. If you lose more than $100 a day, sorry, let me rephrase that. If you lose more than 100 euros in one day, you're gonna get 80, and I mean 80. You want to call because I do beat 7x's and yeah. Just gonna check back this turn, realize my equity could still be there and like 7x. Here I could 3-bet or call. I'm actually gonna throw in the 3-bet. Easy fold river. Bet check, bet land, totally underbluffed. Usually just has a top pair there. As said, I think I know leading ranges are really full of top pair holdings. Here we're gonna bet 1/3 on the flop. Roughly around 1/3. Here we're gonna defend versus a more fishier, and we just take it down, really good result. Versus a more fishier guy, we're gonna defend this hand. Versus a Rake, I'll probably just fold it. Versus half pot, I'm gonna peel with the gutter 2 overs. That's a relatively good turn. I mean, it's not that good. If he bets, we are gonna fold. And if he checks, we're gonna check. Consider to value bet river. And we lose action here. I'm still open sitting at 25 NL table. I might join the 50 NL anyways. So yeah, hoping I still get some action here. No, please. Okay, so let's throw in a little chat there. Maybe he's just gonna go for a P. Who knows? So, what was I? So okay, if you lose more than 100 euros in a day, you're gonna get 80% rake, which is obviously huge. If you're in the area between losing minus 100 euros or winning plus 100 euros, you're gonna get 50% rake bet, which is still huge. I'm gonna float here for half pot. Not the worst turn, I guess. Could have the best hand. Just gonna check back, realize my equity. Hope sometimes have the best hand, of course. I mean, I don't even think he's folding ace high here ever. Could get him off king high, but even that is like questionable. Easy fold. Here we get 4-bet. We have a bit of a decision. We could peel it. We're a bit deeper. I do wanna probably just peel it with like the 9-10s and 9-8s, so without the gap. A bit of better hand. It's not outrageous to peel here. What's the price like? So he makes it this. Why don't I just fold it? It's close. Could peel. Yeah, it's close. So there's no button, so I guess I'm effectively in the button. I'm just gonna open, I guess. So, okay, and then there's like the last thing. If you win 100 euros or more in one day, you're gonna still get 25% rake bet, which more or less is what you got on PokerStars before before the chess thingy started, basically. So, and that's all on top of a deposit bonus. So the deposit bonus will also be 25% up to 2k. So basically, if you're like losing 100 euros in a day, which is like 4 buy-ins at 25 NL, quite reasonable to drop 4 buy-ins in a day. Definitely gonna happen. This is close with rake considerations. I'm just gonna fold it, but in general, this would be a defend for me. So you're gonna get over 100% rake back if you have a losing day. You're probably gonna usually be in the 50% rake back area, and then you're gonna get 75% rake back. Just boom, 75% rake back, which is huge. Huge compared to like, for example, PokerStars, where you currently get like, I don't know, maybe maximum 5% out of the chests, something like that. The sun is glowing behind me. It's actually not the sun, it's light, but yeah. Anyways, back to the topic. So as always, I'm just gonna talk about heads if they appear. There are also some other things. So there's like a type of a rake race thing right here, which I still am to figure out how much rakeback it actually is, but it definitely seems reasonable. So there's also that on top. So you're basically definitely capable of getting over 100% rakeback here. That's obviously huge. So that's definitely a really plus of the side. Downsides of the side so far, I mean, I like to play a bit later. Usually, I don't know, it's so weird, such a weird line. So he shouldn't really lead 10x on the flop, right? But he could. There's a chance he does. I'm just gonna call turn again and reevaluate on the river. So I do block queen 9. 9-8 will usually not bluff anymore. King queen misses, ace queen misses, diamonds miss. I do block some diamonds. I think I'm just gonna honestly knit it back on river. I mean, there are some hands that can call me like worst jack X's, he had a hand in the mix, but it's like pretty, yeah. I would definitely value bet king jack because then I beat queen jack. Right here, I just don't really see a big reason to value bet this. It's close. I think this will happen quite often, and those hands obviously can't call. We're probably gonna float here. Yeah, gonna float for half pot, 2 overs, backdoor flush, backdoor straight. Probably c-betting a bit too much. There's us. Easy turn barrel, of course. Probably gonna trip barrel it off. Easy fold to a bet. Not gonna chase a 10 high flush on a board pair board where I might just be dead. Actually, let me ask this guy if he wants to play some heads up so we get a third table into the mix. Nice, he's sitting me. Let's thank him. Okay, he's sitting me. I'm gonna just let me just add this table instead then. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So there you go. Let's close this 10 and L table and okay. Okay, so we have 3 tables now. That's a bit more interesting, I would say. Okay. So downside, for example, right now it's like about 1 AM as said. There are currently, let me check, 100 players on this side. I told you there's about 2 tables running of 25 NL, no table of 10 NL, no table of 5 NL, 1 table of 50 NL, and I don't know about higher. I guess I can check higher, but I doubt there's a lot running higher. Yeah, doesn't seem like a lot higher is running. So, but I've heard that like the action is like there's way more action at like different times. Like for example at like between 6 PM and let's say 11 PM. That's like where the hot phase is. Where you generally definitely can get a bunch of tables open. In terms of the software, I do like the software. It has some really funny gimmicks, like you can run it 3 times here, which is kind of funny. I like to run it 3 times. There are other things like you can actually straddle, and it's actually not that like it looks kind of cool, I would say, compared to some other sites. It's quite clean. You can't change the bet sizing thingies. That's kind of annoying. And yeah. I suppose that's like the I think that's like more or less the information about the site that I currently know of. And in terms of like population like weakness or strength, I've played like a bit here, not that much so far. And so far there definitely have been some fishes at the table every time. Like sometimes even more than 1 fish. There are definitely some racks here. I still am to figure out how good the racks are. They don't seem amazing this far, but yeah. I mean, I've also like encountered 1 rack which was just pretty terrible, to be quite frank with you. No, going to sleep soon. Don't, not the short stacker, please. So yeah, that's basically. Yeah, then there are like some tournaments running. If you're like sometimes, it's also like close. This is supposed to be a defense for sure. The undercard overcard is gonna play terribly post flop. It's with rake considerations. I'm gonna just throw this into the bin. Oh, there's actually a third guy at Phil. He's supposed to be a rake from the information I have so far, but I don't know if he's a good rake or anything. Guess we're gonna find out together. So there are like a decent bit of tournaments running, and there's like a decent bit of overlay at these, at least sometimes. So that's definitely a good thing. There's also some PLO running. I guess currently there's not. I mean, actually there's some PLO running. Wow, that's actually. So there's actually two tables. Wait, let's play the hands first. Open the pocket fours, folding the 9-7, folding the king 5. Even though it's close, and this time it's in position. Actually in position versus the weaker guy, I'm actually gonna defend this. Even though the overcard undercard is actually gonna play terribly. So actually 2 tables of PLO 25 running, 1 table of PLO 50 running. So there's also some PLO running, I guess. So I guess if like the hold'em action is to stale this, I'm gonna defend this versus Rake blind on lights. You can always just open up some PLO if you like it. Versus 1/3, easy continue, mandatory call. Gonna reevaluate on the turn, depending on the turn. This is interesting. So his queen 10 scatation, we have queen 10. Some 9x's will definitely check now. Some underpairs will check. I'm just gonna check and try to bluff catch on the river. On some rivers. And that's... He could turn some underpairs into a bluff. He also could just have the ace a lot. I'm actually gonna just fold it. His big bets in those spots so far have been more value-y. But there's like a chance he... There's basically a chance he turns like a hand like pocket fours into a bluff there, which would be quite reasonable. There's also a good chance he's just gonna take a showdown with those type of hands, so I'm gonna 3-bet this kind of loosey-goosey. Pretty easy 1/3 c-bet with the ace-4. My plan is to check a lot of turns and just let him bluff from that point on. Going to bluff catch mode, gonna open a 9-8, it's kind of close. And borderline. Definitely could just fold it. So yeah. What I have been doing this far while grinding at night times is gonna opening up like 2 to 3 tables of TonyBet, and then also open up some microgaming. So for example, I was playing some 25 NL, some 50 NL tables, just like whatever I can get my hands on basically. Mainly trying to find some. This is like close once again. There's like a min open. This is like supposed to be called, but with rake considerations, I'm actually gonna throw this away and defend the jack 8 off in this situation. It's like not a world of difference though. So, what was I about to say? So yeah, gonna 3-bet him here. If he 4-bets, it's kind of interesting because we have been kind of going ham versus him. So could consider to bluff 5-bet or like merge bluff 5-bet. Or peel the 4-bet, even though I don't like peeling the 4-bet out of position with ace queen offsuited. So I would probably rather, you know, towards jamming there with a bit of like history and like dynamics. Here I'm gonna just check. This is like not really the bot I want 1/3 with this hand. I'm just gonna check, let him realize his equity. That's a good river. Could try to go for some value. He leads. I'm actually gonna call. He could have some king X's, he could have some 3x's. This goes. Actually, so far he's pretty ABC and nitty. I'm not gonna bluff catch versus that sizing. Here we get raised on the board. We should not really get raised, which usually means he has at least like ace 5 here, which means we're gonna just follow king I, of course. But yeah, generally, like if you get raised, like it's actually pretty interesting information, I guess I can share. If you get raised on those boards where you are the pre-flop raiser and you have the fucking strong hands, and they usually don't have all of them at least, right? They don't have like the really strong hands like the pocket aces, and then like the pocket nines are usually favored as well in those positions. I guess you could make the argument that they probably have more ace nines, even though we could open them as well. But yeah, there's a point to be made that they could. It is like close. I'm gonna defend this closely versus Rake. I think this might be losing a bit with Rake. The 10-9 off is definitely defended, 10-8 is really close. Once he checks flop, I still think he has a ton of check calls, so I'm gonna first check, see what he does on the turn, and I can really reasonably represent this card. So we will. He snap calls. We have some showdown value on the river, we're just gonna check it. Yeah, he's never gonna fold this hand, of course. Just gonna give up there. But we can definitely get him off certain hands there, and we can definitely double barrel on like hearts, for example, and even get him off that hand on hearts. I think if we barrel quite big, whereas an ABC rake, I would definitely barrel on hearts there. But not gonna barrel on the 8, because I don't think on the 8 I have particularly a lot of fold equity versus I guess ace X, they're never gonna fold. And I have some non-zero amount of showdown value, even though like really not a lot. I'm gonna defend the Jack 5 suited. Probably gonna check call flop because it's kind of standard, but it's like pretty iffy and close. I'm gonna wait a bit to check, to give him the illusion that I was considering leading. If he checks back, I'm kind of feeling okay about my hand. If he bets, I don't. Even though he definitely has some double barrels, which I beat. At the same time, they have a ton of equity. And I do block some of those as well. And I do have a lot of better hands there then. Check 5 of diamonds. So, no real reason to continue there. In any form of fashion, I think. Versus a rake, it's really borderline to peel the 7-10 here. Really, more than likely losing. I would peel the 10-8 quite happily though. The 10-9 is a really mandatory peel. Gonna defend the 9-8 off. It's once again really close. All of those closey spots. I'm gonna fold versus sizing versus an ABC nitty rake. If you're watching the video, I don't really know if you're ABC nitty rake. That's like just the first impression I had. Don't want to get too personal, you know. Don't want to start beef. Yeah. So what I was saying is I usually am just stocking up this side with other sides on the side. There are a lot of sides in that sentence. Not speaking that flawlessly right now. So yeah, basically I'm gonna just try to play around 3 or 4 tables here on TonyBet, then add like 4 tables of like microgaming, and then for example I'm also adding like 1 table of anonymous, or what's it called, the anonymous table on party poker thing, where you can only open 1 table at a time, whatever it's called. For those of you who play party poker, you probably know what I mean. Casual games? I think it's casual games. So yeah, that's what I'm currently doing. So I'm basically, that's a huge 3-bet in position. I'm gonna fold this hand, even though it's kind of sad. Let me take a sip of water. Always have to stay hydrated. Also, but speaking is extra important. Obviously a good board for our range, but with close to no backdoors of the 7-6 of spades, I'm just gonna check it. Try to hit a pair. Try to like delay bluff somewhere. This turn card is not the worst for our range. Easy call with the pocket 8s, of course. No reason to forward this hand, really. I mean, guess you could make a case with. Once he checks flop, I think he has a lot of showdown value hands like middle pairs, which still crush me. I'm not gonna 1/3 here. He could have some hands like queen jack, of course, and those will realize some sort of equity. Bet's really small, I'm just gonna fold. Exploitatively, don't think he's balanced there. Gonna fold this because I think he's gonna give me too much resistance. 4-8, pretty borderline. Don't really wanna open it. So yeah. That's what I'm doing at least, trying to play 8 regular tables, trying to just play different sides. For example, on this side then I'm gonna get like between 50 and 100+% rakeback. On microgaming I'm getting 55% rakeback. Pretty bad board for my range, pretty bad board for my hand, no real equity, just gonna check and I wanna check. And maybe delay bluff river. Yeah, I'm gonna bluff this card. I actually have decent blockers to 9x and I actually could have a 9x here for sure. I'm just gonna bluff for pot, hope ace high doesn't peel, but there's a reasonable chance I get zeroed by ace high. There's also a reasonable chance he just folds it. Also some king highs could fold or some chops. Also I deny him the chance of bluffing if he ever has a worse hand, which is kinda hard to have. For min in position of a suited hand, I'm not gonna fold. On the flop with a backdoor flush and a pair, I'm not gonna fold. Also the backdoor quad draw, never forget the backdoor quad draw. Right here, easy call for min with suited ace. It's a huge difference whether you have a suited hand or a non-suited hand. Easy bet on the turn for value. We are like close to never beat because it feels like pocket sixes or like check back a king on the flop, which I doubt he really does. River's kind of interesting. Jack 10 gets some ace queens that could have checked back at some spades miss. I'm actually gonna go into check call mode here. I'm gonna miss some value with ace jack, pocket queens, queen jack. I'm gonna call river. Ace jack value bet. That's a bit too mergy. Yeah, I don't like that value bet for that sizing as well. What the fuck are you trying to get called by? That seems a bit odd. But okay. We could have bet the river, but on that card in particular... I kind of honestly felt like he's gonna turn a decent bit of hands into a bluff if we lead in him there. Even though we are like uncapped there. I felt like he's potentially turning certain parts of range into bluff, like ace x of spades for example, like ace 3 of spades or whatnot. So that was my like part of the reasoning why I check called. There are also like some other bluffs, like I think the texture was like a 6-4, so 7-8 have a gutter could peel and then bluff of course. Get called forward is really a bit sad, but we're gonna just fold. Yeah. But betting the river is definitely reasonable as well with the king deuce. But I decided, yeah, versus a Rake who's tempted to do some fancy things versus me. I'm gonna give him some rope basically. Easy defense with the ace-9 here in these positions, of course. Pretty good flop. No real reason to raise this flop. He definitely has the range advantage. I don't think a king is folding. He bets pretty big, kind of scary. Easy call on the flop. Trying to spike that ace-9, 3-5 or a heart. Preferably a heart. We don't. The 4 is one of the worst rivers in the deck. I don't think he has a boat ever. So, I mean, he barely has a boat here. But for $8, this is just going to be a fold. This is a way too big bet by him. Really not a good bet. Sizing. Like, you're just forcing out my draws. This is really not a good sizing. Just not a good sizing. You also don't need to bet that big ever to set up river. Yeah, I don't like the sizing at all. Really not a fan of that sizing. Here we have easy check call. And see what the turn brings. Each part will once again, by the way, be in between 30 and 45 minutes. He checks. Interesting. We will check the river. And probably check call. The ace-9. In this case, he could probably go for... It's once again, it's pretty close. But if you go for the ace with the ace-jack for value and then don't go for the ace-9 there, I think the ace-9 is a better value than the ace-jack at other spots. But I also don't think the ace-9 is really a bet on the flops. I think that's just kind of a mistake. Gonna bet roughly around half pot here. Ace-9 is just a check on and then just bet it. Pocket 10s could get into a dicey spot here. If he forwards, we're gonna jam. He's snap folding a lot too. Figures probably means he's opening a lot versus me to get into pots versus me. Yeah, that bet sizing on the turn by that Rake guy, really don't like it. Gonna 3-bet the queen jack suited, quite mandatory. Could flat it, but put up some heat. They really don't seem to be. Yeah, there's not a lot of 4-betting going on, I think. Queen 4. Pretty easy fold to a 3-bet. The jack-9 suited, kind of ropey at MP, but I'm gonna open it. Definitely not the worst hand in the history of poker. Easy call with the queen jack suited. Give me a good flop. That's a pretty good flop. Here we're gonna bet 50 cents. Small c-bet, then I'm gonna step the turn a lot again. Easy peel. Easy double barrel. Easy defend as well. Double barreling here for around half pot, trying to get him off some hands. Here we're gonna just peel a half pot. Lots of good turns, that's not one of them. 7-4. On the spot, we have some backdoors. I'm gonna check back and try to turn backdoor. We get raised here, that's unfortunate. We have to fold our hand. We're gonna just check and then probably lay bluff river. This is interesting on the turn. We can either check back and realize our equity. I'm gonna bluff this river, of course, for roughly around half pots. For snap, hoping the snap does something there positively. He calls me with pocket threes. Here I wanna just 3-bet him. Right here I'm gonna check back, realize action, and then step the river. I don't think he's gonna reopen the action that often if he doesn't have anything. So if he has like ace high, I think I can take it down on the river still a lot, and I can just really realize my equity, try to spec the nuts. Yeah, I'm gonna just bet around $3 here and hope ace high folds. If he hits me with ace king high, that's unfortunate, but shit happens. I have to try, especially on this card. I have so many value. So this guy's 4-betting me again. With aces I would consider to get it through, pretty happy. With aces I would consider to slow play it. With kings, I'm just gonna ship it versus the cold 4-bet. Quite happy because this guy's so far been quite aggressive. If you run into aces, that's pretty unfortunate. Tens, that's pretty loose. No 10. No diamond. The king of diamond. I take that one. I take that diamond. I mean, that's a fair diamond. Sorry, but that's pretty loose. Cold 4-bet into stack off for 100 BBs with 10-10 positions where I can't remember the positions. I mean, I guess it was like I was in the small blind, he was in the BB, so it was like MP open, SP 3-bet, he called 4-bet at BB. Okay. So yeah, really. Oh, he has $2 left, so 140 into, so we have to call it off forward. 140 into, yeah, we get over 2-1. We just have the odds to call. Yeah, we are flipping. Come on. Should at least win fucking 1. Ah, come on. Seriously? He holds both? I mean, I guess after holding both with the kings, like, let's not get too tilted by that. I'm obviously not really tilted. The jack is a pretty good river. I kind of always have the best hand here. I want to size in a really small sizing. Exploitatively think this just gets more called than the exact half pot bet. I mean, I'm really targeting some underpairs, so it's kind of hard to get called there. Queen 9, he opens for, yeah. I don't have a calling range with his stack depth, and basically I only have like a 3-bet get it in or fold range here. Yeah, he gets. I don't have to then. Gets in with, I guess, jacks versus 10-6. I mean, okay, buddy. Juventus not wanting to run it twice. Okay, respect that. Actually, don't really. I think you should always run it twice. And I would run it 3 times every time, if I could. As you can see, I've checked, like, run it 3 times. I kind of want to post a straddle. I've never straddled in my life in online poker. And it's, by the way, super minus if you to straddle, just so you know. So don't straddle. Post straddle, post straddle. Wait. I'm just going. I just want to straddle 1 fucking time in my fucking online poker history. So let's straddle now. This is not advisable. Don't do this at home. You know, sometimes you have to have some fun as well. Nice, we straddle. That's so stupid. You shouldn't have done it. We just take it down. Wow. Easy money. I will straddle every fucking time now. Every freaking time. Okay, gonna open the pocket 7s, ace 4 get 3-bet, this guy cold calls, not the worst result I suppose. Easy 3-bet here versus Rake. If he 4-bets, we have options. What? We are super deep here and he makes it super small. What the fuck is this sizing? 390 over 160 when there's a cold call? That seems odd. Ace 7 plays terrible multi-way, so I'm gonna fold. I'm gonna call here getting over 3-1, I think. So we are 2 blinds deep as well. This is a hand that's gonna play well deep. That's really not a good flop. This guy probably lead jams, this guy probably calls, and I fold. If he folds, I'm surprised, because I think his super size down usually means aces. Pretty getting greedy. Let's see if I was right, if he just has aces or kings here. Yeah, there you go. Pretty easy read pre-flop. No rocket science, that his size down there just means strength. It's kind of interesting that like even with Rake you can actually draw those kind of like conclusions from like just the sizing. I mean, I instantly knew like it's strong, and it's like sketchy if he does that, right? Which still means, by the way, even if I knew he had aces and I was somewhat, I mean I wasn't sure he had aces, but I was like reasonably confident that he has aces. They're reasonable one of the time. And I still called her in position with the suited ace because we're 2 blinds deep and we definitely want to play a suited ace being in position 2 blinds deep. We are not going to jam this hand here, by the way, because we are deeper. We're like, I don't know, about 170 blinds deep or something. I don't want to get my money in with ace king. 170 blinds deep, I only want to get my money with aces. 170 blinds deep, so we're just going to call. We also have a really beautiful hand to call and play post flop. And we don't flop good. That's going to happen sometimes. If he bets 1/3, we're going to peel. If he bets bigger, we're going to probably end up folding. Because once again, I think we can read a bit into his sizing. I mean, I'm sure if he has like queen jack of diamonds, which cold 4-bet bluffed, he's probably going to bet quite big here. But 10, he's like, we're not really ahead. Pretty easy 4-bet versus a Rake here. For about 450 or 5. Or $5. Actually a bit less. 475. We're gonna peel the 410 here, being a bit deeper, having the backdoor and the overcards. I think the sizing we can barely peel. I would fold to $5 or more. It's a good turn for my range, not a good turn for my hands. He should check this turn card. He does. That's a good check. We're just gonna check back to try to realize our equity. We might bluff on diamonds because I don't think he really has diamond spots. Relatively safe runout, of course. If he has ace king, he's never gonna bluff. He's just gonna check down and we're gonna just chop it up. Same with ace queen, I don't think he's ever gonna bluff. So we are just gonna check it down and chop it up. That's $3, that seems odd. So I don't think he's balanced here. I think if he does this with ace king, that's not good. He's not basically he's not expecting me to fold my hand. So countering that, I will fold my hand. And I feel quite confident about laying this down. Yeah, we get super good odds. That's why it's called an exploitative. That's an exploitative bluff as well here, top left. Oh no, it's actually bottom left for you. And it was an exploitative fold with the ace king. Because I think his sizing is pretty tailored to get a call by the hand I'm holding. I'm still not uncapped there, by the way. I still have reasonably strong hands. I have 9 X's in my range for sure. I have pocket jacks in my range for sure. I have pocket queens in my range for sure. I even have hands like quads that slow play to turn. So I'm not capped there, so I don't need to call ace king there really. I mean, I suppose with this sizing, in theory, I have to call that hand. I mean, because it's a really tiny sizing and I'm somewhat far up in my range, right? But I think exploitatively, I think the best outcome there is to chop. And I don't think we're gonna chop often enough. Because I think he still checks a lot of strong hands on the turn, basically like his overpairs. And I think those might take the sizing on the river. So yeah. Exploitative fold. What can I really say? We did get to see 2 streets for a flop call. And I do think on diamond rivers we actually have a pretty profitable bluffing spot. Okay, I'm gonna 3-bet my hand here. In order to stack off, of course. Hopefully he forwards or calls. Don't want to see folds, of course, when holding pocket kings. Pretty strong hand. One of the best hands in Texas No Limit Hold'em, by the way. You see a fold. That's fine. So ace king spot was pretty big, but what can I really do? I mean, the only thing I could potentially do is call river. I could bluff turn, but I have so many better hands to bluff turn. I mean, you have to realize, I'm probably gonna peel any suited hand there being so deep in position versus his cold 4-bet. So I have like a bunch of good hands there. So I have like all the good draws, all the good hands. Really not a bad spot for me at all. Just gonna 3-bet a bit. Really seems to get a lot of folds with 3-bets here. Oh, sadly don't have ham to check it, but yeah. Wanna ask later what he had with the ace king. I think if he had ace king there, it's really not a good spot to bet that small. Just take the free chop. I mean, he's not expecting me to fold ace high for that sizing. So betting ace king is like kind of pointless. But it could have happened. Like, there's a chance I folded the chop there. As I said, I don't think I folded the best hands. I don't think that's really ever the case. But folding a chop there, of course, sometimes happens. Oh, no action of the aces. It's okay. Ace queen, gonna 3-bet. If he 4-bets, I'm gonna peel, even out of position. King jack, blind on blind, I'm gonna 3-bet. Hoping to not see his 4-bet basically. 10-8 suited, pretty easy open. Then gonna call a 3-bet. Jack 9, gonna open and fold to 3-bet. Interesting flop. I'm just gonna 1/3, I think. It's kind of it's sketchy. I'm gonna start by 1/3ing my hand though. Try to realize my equity this way. I have some barrel turns I can barrel effectively, like the queen of diamonds for instance. He should obviously never raise me, but he is more on the regulation side, so I might getting a fold here pretty good result. Probably had the best hand, but it's still a good result if he folds, even if we had the best hand. Don't want to let him realize his equity, don't want to get bluffed off the best hand. And those things happen quite often if I just check it back. Obviously my range is pretty crushing on that board. So... So we are 43 minutes in, so I'm gonna probably cut this soon. The first part, he leads into me, I'm just gonna call. Obviously he's not a bot he should ever lead because I have ace king, he doesn't. But whatever, we have a perfectly fine hand to call. Pretty good turn. He should not have ace king. He could free roll also with like king x of spades. I think that's the worst case. Once he checks, we obviously have the best hand. We're obviously gonna value bet quite big. He could have some 8x's that are gonna call, and he could have some other hands that call. Here we just 1/3 for protection, blind on blind. I don't think he checks a lot of pairs on the flop, so I do want to get the protection. I think the pocket fives are quite good. And I'm gonna just check it down now. Pocket sixes, yeah, cut ourselves there, but that's okay. Sometimes you're gonna cut yourself. Well, that's totally fine. Easy fold with the 10-9, pretty big 3-bet by him. King 8, gonna bet around half potish. And then I'm gonna probably check a decent bit of turns to induce a bluff. Yeah, so this will once again be a 4-part series. hope you will join me back on the second part. And by the way, I'm offering some pretty affordable coachings, private coachings. So if you did like my content so far, I don't know, if you think you can get something out of that, contact me. You can contact me via like the PokerVIP personal messages, or you can contact me via like the YouTube comments, and I can give you like my, I don't know, does YouTube have private messages? It probably has. Or I can give you my Skype address. And yeah, can get into touch, can talk about how much I charge hourly and so on. And yeah, hope to see you back in the next parts. I mean, I guess I can play this hand out. I mean, I'm gonna fold. Then I'm gonna just play the 8-6 out. And then I'm gonna quit it. I wanna peel here. I wanna peel for you guys. Interesting. Interesting. I wanna see what half pot. I think there are definitely some hands that fold here. Like pocket tens, for example. And I do have equity. My plan is to check back turn and realize equity, because I think he can easily check an ace on the flop in order to check call. So we're gonna check back turn and realize our equity. With the jack 8, no heart. Depends on his sizing on the flop, but I'm probably gonna fold this weak cut shot. Checks back. Easy bet. Easy check back. Cup. No. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna fold the river a lot. I'm just gonna give up. Actually, I don't really think he has hearts a lot. I'm just gonna bet. Actually, I don't want to bluff into this guy for reasons I have. Easy fold. Yeah, I don't want to bluff into this guy. And some reasons for that. Anyways, that was part 1. I want to tease you and not show you what the ace king does. See you in the next part.